Sporty Shorty. How you
Hey,
doing
what's going
today?
on? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Good to see you again. Unfortunately, we have a sad topic to discuss. I understand we
Yes.
lost a good man on Sunday, and
Yeah.
let's tell us about your thoughts on the passing of Bill
This
Russell.
past Sunday we lost Mr. William Felton Russell, better known as Bill Russell, who played for the Boston Celtics from the years of 1956 to 1969. And he passed away at the age of 88 in the Washington area. Um, yeah, it was a sad day. Um, I didn't live in a time where Bill Russell played, but I remember watching a lot of videos, and my father introduced me to him at an early age. Um, he had an unbelievable NBA career. He played 13 seasons, and in those 13 seasons, he won 11 championship rings.
Wow. Was he with the
That's
Celtics the
the
whole
whole
time?
time he played for the Boston Celtics.
Wow.
He's the most winningest player in NBA history.
Really?
Yeah, no one's won more than him.
Wow. That's a
In terms
lot.
of championships, the joke is that he has more rings than fingers.
Okay.
And he's the only player that can boast about that.
Uh-huh.
No other players won that many rings. So and he did it during a tumultuous time,
Right.
just in society at the time, which is even more remarkable. He's won 5 MVP awards. He was Olympic gold medalist. There's so many accolades when it comes to him. He revolutionized the center position in the NBA with his defense, block shots, athleticism, his intelligence. He really thought the game. Very cerebral player. So unbelievable amount of accolades in his NBA career. He also was the first black coach in the NBA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was at that time was remarkable. Obviously,
Exactly.
was unheard of. He was the first one, and actually not in the NBA. Actually, all of professional sports,
Wow.
all of American professional sports. He was the first black coach. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so he's definitely a pioneer of the game. But for me, what's more important is his social activism while he was playing. He, despite the fact that he was playing in that period of time, he just always wanted to be conscious and helpful to others who were dealing with their struggles. And he could have very easily ignored it
Right.
because he was making good salary for him at that time, especially for a black person at that time. He was making a good salary.
Like we see some players do today.
Right. Some people ignore it, because they look at it as it's not their problem because they're doing well. And in spite of all that, he still made a lot of sacrifices for himself and others. So one such thing was he helped integrate the schools in Boston.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. He was very active in that, in helping the people, the children of Boston, and the schools become integrated.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't, but he also was very quiet about what he did. He wasn't quiet, but he was he didn't search for recognition.
humble.
He was very humble. So, which made it even better. The fact that he was humble and he did all these great things. Another thing is that there was an instance in Kentucky. He was supposed to play a game in Kentucky, and they were staying at a hotel, and the restaurant, the team was staying at a hotel
In Kentucky.
in Kentucky, Boston Celtics, and they're supposed to be playing an exhibition game that day, and his black teammates weren't served in the hotel restaurant. They refused service, and once he got wind of that, he said, you know what, we're not going to play in the game. So him as well as his other black teammates refused to play. And that was very powerful at that time.
Right.
You know, just because of all the racial tension at the time and how black people were treated unfairly. So there could have been a lot of ramifications to the things he actually did.
Right.
You know, but what stood out to me is that he was never scared. He didn't live in fear. You know, he did what he thought was right. And it seems like he always lived his life like that.
That's awesome.
In addition to that, he marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which again was also very dangerous at that time.
Right.
You know, but, you know, again, he fought for what was right.
And he made those sacrifices.
And this is while he was playing. You know, people a lot of times don't think about the fact that sometimes people can lose so much.
Right. It could have hurt his career.
It could have hurt his career tremendously. You know, he could have lost everything. But he made that sacrifice. Another thing that stood out to me is he stood with Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali refused to go into the army because of his religious beliefs. That, again, was very polarizing at that time in America.
I'm sure.
And again, he stood with he stood with Muhammad Ali during that time, which again was very profound and something that's always stood out to me. What else can I mention? He also supported the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and also the Voting Rights Act of 1965, you know, which made it easier for black people to vote without, you know, persecution. In 2011, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Barack Obama, President Obama. Yeah, which is the highest civilian award that could be presented.
Amazing.
Which is unbelievable. There's not too many people that actually get that award. Another thing that stands out to me is when I used to watch film with my father, he always seemed to confront racism with class and passion. You know, he never seemed angry. You know, he just seemed like that he was going to say what he wanted to say and he was going to address things. But he always did it with a sense of class.
Awesome.
And that always stood out to me. I also remember that I used to watch NBA All-Star games, and he always, most of the time, he was there in the crowd. And a lot of times they would interview him, and just even seeing his interactions with current players, with some of the former players, just the way they would go up to him, and it seemed like the way they would look up to him. And he seemed like he would always be smiling and laughing with them. He seemed very approachable. And those are the things that really stood out to me, is the love that he got from other NBA players.
And he probably was a great mentor as well.
Yeah, he definitely was. I remember Kenny Smith talking about that. He actually was Kenny Smith's first coach in the NBA. And Bill Russell used to have Kenny Smith sit next to him all the time.
That's
on
sweet.
the bus or on the plane. And even on the bench, he would have him sit next to him because Kenny Smith was a rookie at the time, and you know he asked him, he was like, "Do you want to be a winner?" Because Kenny Smith used to always want to sit in the back of the bus with his other teammates and hang out with them. And Bill Russell said, "No, you're gonna sit next to me." And he would always say, "You know what? Do you want to be a winner?" And how ironic that Kenny Smith turned into a winner. He won 2 NBA championships in his career. So, Kenny Smith will always talk about that mentorship.
Nice.
And a lot of times he would always talk about the fact that he doesn't remember so much learning basketball from Bill Russell. He remembers learning about life. He would just teach him and talk to him about being a man and being a black man in society and how you should conduct yourself. And that really stood out to me. So he'll be sorely missed.
Yeah.
He'll definitely be sorely missed. I'm emotional now just talking about it. just because of the impact that he's made on so many people,
Including your
including
own life.
myself. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have much else to say. You could go on and on about Bill Russell because there's so many stories, and it even feels funny me saying Bill Russell, like he's Mr. Bill Russell, just because of the respect level that he should garner. But that's really all I have on that.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts, and it sounds like Mr. Bill Russell was
Yes.
not only a great man, but a great example of how to be a man.
Indeed.
So thank you so much.
Very welcome.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.